we're 90%, 91% of people who come to the re-sign visit sign for another, usually six months at a time. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. 91% of those people.
Welcome back to ChiroRx, where we talk business growth for, well, chiropractors. Today, we're talking about freedom. Most of you listening probably can't even imagine leaving your clinic for a long lunch, let alone moving 500 miles away from your practice. But my guest today, Tim Weselak, did just that. He lives in Nashville while his practice crushes it in Illinois. We're diving into how he built a durable practice that runs on him practicing just 48 hours a week, the 3 metrics that he tracks from his phone to keep the engine running, and why he decided to still fly back to adjust patients despite being in practice for 21 years. If you want to stop being the technician and you want to start being the CEO of your practice, this episode's for you. Let's dive in. Tim, welcome to the show, my man. How we doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this.
Me too. Actually, funny enough, I didn't actually tell you this. I was literally just in Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago there, just outside of Chicago. And it dawned on me, that's like literally right next to where your practice is, isn't it? It's like right down the
My
street.
Illinois practice, Rosemont. I mean, I could probably get there in 15 minutes.
Yeah, wild. It just dawned on me before we jumped on this because I was out there for I don't know if you're familiar with the 5-star coaching group, but
Dr. Noel Lloyd.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked today. Dr. Noel Lloyd was my first coach.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so when I was an associate chiropractor coming out of chiropractic college, when I graduated in 2000, the doc I worked for was a client of Noel Lloyd. So I think it was January after I graduated, 1 month later, I'm at a seminar in Pittsburgh and Noel Lloyd's a speaker.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you know George Bernbach as well? Yeah.
Yeah, Bernbach,
Yeah, man, wild. Small world. Chiropractic is such a small world. Well, cool, man. So you live in Nashville now, if I understand correctly, but your business is in Chicago, like we're talking about, just outside of Chicago here. For the doctors listening and watching this episode who like couldn't even imagine leaving their office for as long as lunch, how often are you actually in the office versus leading from Nashville, which is obviously 500 miles away?
So currently, before I go over the backstory of that, I'm in Illinois for 48 hours. So I get here middle of the day Tuesday, and then I see patients Tuesday afternoon. I see patients all day Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, and usually back on a plane by 1 o'clock on Thursday, and then I get home. So 1 hour flight to and from, a turn 48 hours. But what kind of one of the big things is the systems, right? So I have and the team, because I just come in, see the regulars, run team meeting, run team training, but ultimately the associate chiropractors are doing the majority of the patient care now. But
what was the tipping point for that? And the reason this feels so top of mind for me as well, actually, because I just had a call with another doctor today who's actually up in Minnesota, where I'm from, and she's looking to move to Texas, where she's originally from. Ironically, we kind of like switch roles there. But for you, like what was the tipping point or breaking point where you realized you wanted to live in Tennessee while also keeping the business in Illinois? Was it just something you just didn't want to give up, or what happened?
Well, it's easier to move your family than your practice. I mean,
Fair.
We were at the point of our kids at the ages they were, and the timing of things in the world, Ben. Like we wanted to try something different and move to Tennessee. We really love the culture there and the better weather and everything else involved with Tennessee. So we decided to jump it and go for it. But the practice was, even before we left, is the main income of our family, right? So you can't just take the practice and all the patients being served there and then move it 500 miles south, because those patients aren't going to come see you.
Right.
So we talked about it a lot, and only being a 1 hour flight and making a quick turn out of it is very doable, because I think the two things we can talk about today is, what does it take to have a practice that really, ultimately, if I wanted to, I don't have to come up. Like I was off last week, so I was off 12 days in a row, and they crushed it. They zoomed me in for team meeting last Wednesday. I answered a few emails, but all outside of that, like they crushed it last week. And so it comes down to people and systems. The systems are so set in place that when the patients come in, or how the schedule is handled, or how the phone is answered, that everyone's on the same page. And then the right people we have here with the right attitudes, which is the biggest part, of a great team member, but also the right training in place that everyone knows what their role is, what their job is. So with the systems and with the right people, you can roll with it, right? So we could easily now in our practice, we can move a doctor or a CA in and out, and we still at the same capacity. We can have one doctor go on vacation and we don't miss a beat. We have one CA gone for a week. Everyone just fills in. We don't miss a beat. And that's when it's really fun because it gives you a lot of flexibility. I think I felt 4 years ago when we moved, like I was finally at that point that the practice was that durable that I could literally be away for most of the week now and it's still run great and it's been awesome. So
How long do you feel like it took you to actually do that, though? Give people a realistic timeline on what it took to actually get something that felt durable to you.
yeah, heck, opened the practice in 2005. We made this move in 2022. So 17 years, right?
Damn.
Yeah.
I just want to put that in perspective because I think a lot of docs, especially fresh out of school, are like, yeah, 5 years maybe, and it's like, no, maybe closer to 15.
Yeah. I think it's going to be at least a decade.
Yeah, unless you have like some superpower mentor systems process, or maybe you learn from somebody like yourself that could streamline some of this stuff, but which we'll get into obviously in this episode. But
Yeah, I'll
why?
talk about this later too. Like I've had 10 chiropractic coaches in my 26-year career, and I've learned a ton from each of them, and each of them brought different value to me. But remember, one of the coaches I had said, "Hey, here's how if you want to do different things, let's say in the profession, like you want to do coaching or products or similar, whatever you want to do later, that's great. But I think he said the first thing you want to do is build a really big practice that's successful and gives you a good income and base. Once you have that, then you can do other things." But I think part of it, a lot of us have this entrepreneurial thing. We want to start, we're new in practice and we want to start rolling out, like new podcasts or rolling out mentorships or training and coaching, but we haven't really built the base of the practice yet. Once you have that base of the practice running and it's like a nice machine, then you can hire people and then you can start doing other things in the profession or whatever else you want to do, but you have the practice already established.
Have you ever heard of the expression of the lady in the red dress? You heard this?
No.
Yeah, I wish I could coin it. I stole it from obviously one of the greats, Alex Hormozy. But
Yeah.
there's a great scene in the movie The Matrix. I don't know if you've seen it, but Neo is essentially like walking down what looks like a New York street with a bunch of busy people walking around, all in like suits and ties, and all of a sudden, like this like beautiful girl in the red dress walks by him, and he turns and like watches this beautiful girl walk by him. And Morpheus says something, and Neo looks back, and then he realizes that there's an agent pointing a gun to his face because he got distracted by this lady in the red dress. And so the analogy is, in terms of business, is that that's what happens, right? Is that you are on set to build this amazing practice, and then you get distracted by the lady in the red dress of whatever the thing is, the new modality, the new service, the new location, whatever it is.
Yep.
And as a result, you get shot in the face.
Yep. Well,
And it's a great analogy.
yeah, it's like the shiny ball syndrome, right? Like I want to add that in my practice or do this or do that. I mean, you lose the focus of what really you have to build first. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And cash flow drives everything, right? Is like if you can have that initial base of cash flow in your practice, then doing the other things all of a sudden it becomes easier, right? It
Yeah.
becomes more realistic.
It's realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us about why do you come back then, right? Like, so you've built this durable practice, you've built these incredible systems, this team. You said you don't even have to come back if you don't want to. Why do you, I guess, is a better question.
I love it. I have the best team I've ever had. I've had this practice for 21 years and I just have a Rockstar team. The CAs, the doctors, massage therapists we have on staff too. Like everyone's just a great energy. And I like seeing my regulars. I mean, I have people that I've been seeing since the day I opened. I mean, 20 years plus that are patients. And I just love coming back.
Yeah.
So I know it's crazy, but but now it's only being gone 2 nights a week. If I do it, really isn't as bad. At first I wasn't doing that out of the beginning, but now I am. And then, like last week, I was off for 12 days. I mean, not even cup at all. So I didn't have to do it every week. But I like it. Like this afternoon, I literally hit the ground on the airplane, right? And shot to the office here. And by 3 o'clock, I had my hand on the first spine and I'm working. We were cranking all the way until 6 right before this. And it was fun.
Yeah.
Helping a lot of people, it was a lot of fun. So, I mean, not forever kind of thing, but I really do enjoy it. I got it pretty dialed in. So that's why I come back. So.
One more question kind of about how we got here before we start diving into maybe team and systems related things, but why not sell it, right? Like you said, you built this great team and systems, and I'm sure it's probably worth a pretty penny, which oddly enough, most doctors never even get to that point, right? Most
Yeah.
doctors ended up just actually shutting the door and they never make a cent. But it sounds like you're probably in a pretty good situation. So why not sell and kind of start over where you're at?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's definitely thoughts about that at this point now. So just looking at some options on that, first getting an evaluation, was it worth, right? So I'm almost done with that process. And then playing out what the option. I mean, I look at obviously, if you're going to sell a business, you want to make the best profit you can from it and hope to do it as quick as you can, right? But you also I also don't want to I also want to leave a legacy here.
Mm.
I've been 21 years of building this chiropractic machine in this town. I don't want to have it walk away and not be in the right hands. I'm really bad about that, So I want to figure out the good balance of hey, if I'm going to walk away, I do want to make good profit off of it. But I also want to be hey, will this facility I'm in right now, will it serve chiropractic for who knows how many more years down the road? 20 years, 30 years, 50 years? I don't know. Hopefully for a long, long time. So that's also in the back of my mind of what that looks like. So yeah, it's definitely on my mind, but it's good. The balance has been okay at this moment. So no decisions yet. So
I respect that because I think that a lot of people could see a nice, pretty 7, who knows, maybe even 8-figure check and just sign it over to a private equity firm that'll spin it up for the next 5 to 7 years and then watch it burn to the ground. But sounds like you don't want to go that route.
yeah.
So, well, cool. So before we get into the system stuff, let's talk a little bit about team. You mentioned it a few times about how you have the best team you've ever built. How the hell did you do that? Because I know that this is by far one of the biggest challenges that doctors deal with, of literally just being able to hire an associate or a COA or a front desk for that matter, right? Like those are challenging positions to hire, arguably speaking. So what's the secret?
Well, the first thing is there is a lack of training on that in our chiropractic curriculum, put it that way. So it's not really taught in chiropractic college. So from the world of hard knocks, you learn how many mistakes you make at the beginning when it comes to being the employer or the team leader, CEO, when you interview and hire and you do it right and do it wrong. So I have not done it perfect when I first started, that's for sure. The coaching has really helped me in that and having mentors to talk to about how to handle it. But really, when it came down to it now, I knew that on a doctor end, I needed chiropractors that align with me philosophically. They had to be in the same principal chiropractic wavelength. If they weren't on the same, it would never work, right? They also need to adjust similar to me. This is actually an important thing when bringing on associates. They need to do it. Their technique has to be very, very similar to me because I can't have another associate coming in that's going to cover my patients, but adjusting them totally different. And the patient's getting a different experience. Or then I can't cover their patients because I don't know how to do that technique. So I think it's really important. Noel Lloyd used to say this. He used to say, if you really want to get it good, your technique is so similar that the patient was face down and he didn't say a word, they wouldn't even know what doctor's adjusting. And that's pretty impossible. But if the point is, that's how similar you want to try to make it. Because then it becomes we can cover each other very well. Like all I have to do in my notes then, like I covered for one of our docs this afternoon who doesn't work Tuesday afternoons. I have to just go to the account and the notes are right in there. I know how he adjusts and I can get right in and the patient it's very easy to move through that. So that's one. So knowing philosophically, and I need to know that their technique is similar to mine. And then obviously you learn once you're a team member how dependable they are, what their heart is. And I have 3 really great doctors in that respects. So that's the doctor end. But there's a lot we could talk about. We could spend the whole hour, just talking about how you need to bring them on board. There's definitely step-by-step things on how you need to interview, how you talk about expectations before you even bring them on. Like, this is part of the job. These are the duties, these are responsibilities. Compensation, right, is a big thing. Like, how are you going to pay an associate chiropractor? There are a lot of models out there that aren't really fair. I want a win-win relationship. Like, I want to be able to win-win this, that like if the associate wins, I win. I look at it even more than that. Like, the associate grows their practice within the practice. They win, I win, the practice wins, the patients win. Everybody wins. So my job as clinic director is not only as their boss per se, but it's also their mentor, their coach, their cheerleader, whatever it takes to help them, equip them. I've always tell people it's about empowerment. I want to empower them to be very, very successful chiropractors, that they can do what they want. Their dream career is happening here. That's what I want. And I think all of them here, they've been here long enough now. It's 9.5 years, 9 years, and 6.5 years. And they've been fantastic. So there's the clinical end of that. The CA end, I think, well, it's different for me now since I'm not here as much. I got really, 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 I feel really blessed with my office manager now, who was not hired as that. She was hired just as a CA. But quickly, she was able to, I get a lot of HR experience and management experience, that she rose to the top and became office manager, which is great because then I can look at, like, it took like an org chart of what's happening. It's like, I'm the owner, but then I'm over here running clinical, and she's over here running the CA department. So 3 CAs work under her. They report to her. They only come to me if something else has, they can always come to me anytime, but like, they can work under her. She trains them, onboards them, interviews, and everything else. I can work on my clinical team. We come together. That makes it really nice now as far as the gel of it, because she can handle a lot of those CA duty things and training things. I don't have to worry about having to train that as much.
How do you vet and train associates to care about patients' outcome and retention as much as you do? Because obviously you're always going to care more than anybody because it's your business. But from being, 500 miles away, there's such a common, uh, as the cat's away, the mouse will play type
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
How do you prevent that?
They know that if they produce, that the practice will continue to succeed and grow, but also there's income involved with that, right? So if they're going to slack when I'm gone, then everything goes downhill, right? There's that end of it. It's also just, I think the biggest thing is a respect part. Like, they know I respect them, they respect me, right? And they know how hard we've worked to build this practice and things that we've done and the amount of time we spent training, that I feel there's a level of respect that they would never, when I'm gone, like, train wreck the thing, you know? And it also helps when you have like a good right arm person like my office manager, who's almost like a COO kind of operator, who can kind of report in on how things are going as well. Um, I think respect is the biggest thing. One of the things I was talking about when I spoke recently to a group of chiropractors, I talked about role model, and it was just something, in the means of like, hey, if you want your staff and your team to do the things that you want them to do, you need to do them yourself. If you want them to show up on time, you show up on time. For doctors, you want to get them their notes done on time, then your notes are done on time. Like, all those things that you would want from them, they know that I will do that for them too. So like, when we're busy this afternoon and we have all these patients coming through, we're all hands on deck. I'll help you and do your exam for your patients if you're busy, vice versa. I'll go to the front. I mean, whatever we got to do to help each other, they know that I will, and I think the role model part is important, because they know that I have their back like they have mine. But I also, whatever I ask of them, I do. Whatever I ask of them, I'm doing myself.
And do you have like is it like a bonus structure? Is that what incentivizes them from a monetary standpoint?
Uh, it's a little different for both, but overall, it's a real simple thing for everybody. There's like a million ways, Corey, that it's funny in the chiropractic circles and how to bonus people.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it all, and like crazy 20 different bonuses that are like little $5 bonuses that add up, and it's so much math to figure out. It's like I just think it's this way, at the end of the day, it's a business. I'm very I think the three most important numbers to know is like how many new patients you're bringing in the front door. That's obviously your attraction piece. Your patient visit and your volume is telling you how well you're doing getting patients in the door week after week. But of course, ultimately your business, so the collection, so the money, right? So I just set a monthly, like we based on the averages of the clinic every quarter. I reset a monthly bonus bar, I call it. So monthly bonus. And every quarter I reset it. So if we have a lot of growth, then that number needs to change because we're now at a new level. But it's a monthly bonus. If the clinic supersedes that dollar amount, then everyone gets a percentage. And
Mm,
everyone's different based on how long they've been here for and their role.
sure.
1%, 2%, 3%, whatever it may be. That's up to the doctors to decide that. But I know that if we're surpassing that number, everybody's winning. Then I'm going to give everyone a little bit of a bonus because of that. So
That's cool.
yeah,
And so it is a bonus structure, but it's based on a team. It's motivated as a team thing. So like if everyone's winning,
yeah.
everyone
Everybody,
gets.
everyone on the team is in that bonus structure.
Yeah.
Different,
Okay.
the different percentages based on but everyone's on it.
Yep.
And it's super easy to track.
Yeah.
I'm not spending 20 minutes again every month trying to. We all know we got to shoot. We're tracking it week to week, and we do our team meetings. We know how close we're getting, where we're at with the numbers, that we're all shooting for it together.
Hmm.
I mean, one of the things as a business owner, if you know you're bonusing on that, you'd be surprised how much better your front desk will collect money. It's crazy to say that, isn't it? But like
It's awesome.
I wasn't bonusing that way before, and then once I started doing collection bonuses, like all of a sudden they're collecting that money way better than before. I'm like, darn, I should have done this a long time ago. But
Yeah.
that's ultimately your business. And then I look at it this way: if I make money, you can make money, right? So
Yeah. So on that note, you might have alluded to it a little bit. What are the main maybe one, two, or at the most three numbers you're looking at, right? Because again, you're managing this from 500 miles away. What are the main things that you can just like pull up on your phone or your account that you're checking just to make sure the business is on track?
yeah, great question. So um, I'm going to tie two things with this. One, we do a weekly team meeting and team training every week without fail. 11 o'clock on Wednesday, you will find us huddled in this room, all eyes on the screen, going through our spreadsheets every week. The one thing that I've always wanted to do is that like everyone collectively on the team is responsible for one of those spreadsheets. So we're all coming in the meeting with the sheets all ready to go and going through the numbers left to right. And a simple thing, and I think the biggest numbers would be new patients, patient visits, and overall collections. Those are your three main categories, I think, to know success. But there's also little parameters that are in there. So if I think of, okay, so if I'm looking at, let's take it monthly stats, make it more broad. I want to know how many patient visits I'm seeing in a month. That's an obvious. I know like how efficient are we? What's our capacity? How many people are we serving every month? That's the one number. But I want to know number of new patients who walked in the door, like literally came in the door and received a day one visit, right? But then I also, right next to the day one, I want to know how many of those people started care. And I mean started care, and I don't mean they just like came back a second time. I mean like they've committed to 30 days of care or more, usually 3 months. Like what's that percentage look like, right? We also track what we call retention or resign. Um, we do programs and packages in our office. I just think that's the best way to run a practice because I want a patient who's committed to this. And chiropractic to me is about the long term. To reach your best innate potential, to reach your best health potential, chiropractic is best utilized in a long term situation, right? I love this. What I learned from a coach one time, he says, "Hey, I see chiropractic as one more tool that you can put in your wellness tool belt. So like, for example, we all know that in our wellness tool belt, it's like, what do I do to get proper rest? What do I do to proper exercise, eat the right foods? But let's stick chiropractic in that belt too, right? So what does that mean? That means the patient I've been seeing for 21 years who comes in every other week, like that's someone utilizing chiropractic for the long term, right? So the best way to make that happen is someone who experienced chiropractic for more than 2 visits. Like I need at least 30 days of care with you, probably more like, more like 90 days or more. So the point is when I get to the retention piece, majority of our patients will start with 90 days of care. At the end of 90 days, we sit down, re-examination, re-x-ray, see how structures change, and we talk about the next phase of things, right? Because I see it as like when it comes to the adjustments, it's all about how long your body can hold the adjustment for. At the beginning, I'm trying to change patterns and change physiology. So I'll probably want to see them 3 times a week, most adult patients at least for sure. And then once they're holding well at that, then we'll go down to twice a week. And once they're holding well with that, then we'll go down to once a week. So it comes down, it's all based on how the body holds the adjustment because the new patterns are holding better now in their spine and nerve system. So then we get to the retention, whether we're tracking retention. Retention means that every 3 months or 6-month packages after that first initial plan, over and over and over and over, we're tracking how many people came up for re-sign and re-signed. Like we're 90%, 91%, over 21 years, 91% of people who come to the re-sign visit signed for another, usually six months at a time. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. 91% of those people. That to me is the dream. The dream is I'm coming into the office and it's just wellness patients with a majority of them asymptomatic that are coming in for chiropractic to have a better health potential because they know it's valuable to their health week in, week out. So that's the retention thing that we track.
Have you ever flirted with a recurring model of any form? So you mentioned you do packages, and the reason I ask about the recurring model thing is I recently attended the Remarkable Practice out in Phoenix here
Yeah, Dr.
2, 3.
Franson. Yeah.
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 And that was one of the things that he brought up was just like how great some of these like recurring models can be, and it was actually something I didn't get a chance to talk with him about, but I'm curious if that's something you've ever flirted with.
I could, we could probably switch to that and be fine. The only thing about that to me is what does that mean? Let's say you put a patient on a once a week wellness plan, right? And what if they have to come extra visits? Are you changing the monthly fee that month then?
Hmm.
Are they getting extra ones for free? Like you're not tracking the visit number then. You're kind of just it's more like a health club membership then, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
like I don't know a true like dollar visit average then of that visit. But if I know that they paid for a package of 13 visits over 6 months, like every other week, then if they use them quicker than the 6 months, well, they're used up.
Right.
And you just got to sign a new one.
Right.
So yeah, I could argue both. I mean, I think either way, outside the logistics of what's a better way to run it, what's most important is you have a practice that you have people that are continuing to come in for regular chiropractic care month after month after month.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with a 90 plus re-sign, it's kind of probably just a wash at this point. Cause like I feel like the biggest advantage, just putting my business brain cap on for a moment, would be the fact that like they don't have to have another decision point, right? It's like it just keeps reoccurring month after month or quarter after quarter or year after year, or whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
Just like a gym membership where I don't think about it, right? Like it just gets charged and there's no decision point because decision points are where people generally fall off. But again, if you're at a 90+%, it doesn't really probably matter for you. But that'd be my thought of it behind
The
it.
one thing I would have, like, I never tried that model. I know a lot of docs that do, but I would say something if people are doing, like, let's say, okay, great. You like every other week, we'll just put you on a continuous auto debit, whatever the fee may be, month to month, right? Is that still make sure you have some kind of re-exam built in,
Sure.
some kind of check-in.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, 3 months, 6 months, annually, something. The worst thing you can do is put someone on like a regular indefinite thing and you never recheck. Right. Not only on a compliance end should you be checking objectively to make sure that they are improvements, but I think the patients appreciate even like sometimes as quick as 30 seconds or a minute that I'm in the room, they appreciate me reconnecting with them. Because when they come in, it's 90 seconds on the table. Like it's not long, but they appreciate I'm checking in with them. And I always end all of my little checks like that and retention with the same question at the end. Is there anything else that we're not addressing?
What's the most common answer you get other than no?
Man, it's not much else, but they may say something like, hey, you know what? My knee has been bothering me for a long time. Never said anything. Like, well, I could do some work on that. Or like, hey, I never even told you, but like, I've been like, I've always wondered like if it would help if I got a little bit of decompression in my neck. And like, yeah, I could do like small things like that. If I didn't ask the question, I might have lost them.
Totally.
And then I pop it in my note. I put it in going forward, and they know that I listened. I'll be honest, like it's almost always no, but I'm glad you said that because when they ever say something, I'm actually glad that they did because I want to address it.
What was it? Is there anything else I could do better? Or how did you phrase it?
Is there anything else? Is there anything else that we're not addressing?
That we're not
addressing.
All right, I'm gonna take a note of this. I think that's a good one. I'm stealing that.
Fine.
I am stealing it for my business, not for your business. But so let's tap into what I would probably consider what I would assume is one of your favorite topics. Let's talk about cops. And I'm not talking about the cops that, on your favorite television show where they go to Albuquerque and chase bad guys around, but COPS, the program that you're very involved with. I know you have a few frameworks we could tap into, whether it's like the attraction, conversion, compliance, retention framework, or I kind of want to let you take the reins on this. Is like, what should people know about cops?
25 years ago, there was 4 chiropractors who got together at a restaurant, just talking chiropractic. And they, it's like, we want to keep this inspired and keep it going, right? So they started building that. And then a year later, they were in a local imaging center down the street from here and started bringing in speakers on a monthly basis, bring either local or some from other places. Chiropractors have big names in the profession coming out to speak. I got in, it was probably about a year and a half in, because in 2022, that's when I went to my first meeting, like end of 2022. And then I got really involved and I was like, this is really awesome. It was once a month we met. It was a Wednesday night with our speakers that came in from all over the country. And we got together, talked chiropractic. And the cool part was, above and beyond getting the passion and the, building, like you left there and it's like, oh my God, I want to take on the world. I love being a chiropractor. That was huge. But it was also, man, the friendships that developed over the last 25 years now due to that have been just awesome. So it went for a while, and then about 2010 or something, it kind of fell apart. The structure was kind of lost. Towards the end of that time, I was in a role as kind of like I don't know if it was treasurer or secretary or membership, but I had everyone's name and email, so to speak. So in 2012, I rebirthed it. And since 2012, we meet every other month on the odd months of the year. And we kept it going. And we'll bring speakers in. Probably half the time it's someone local. The other half, we've had some people come in. So many chiropractors. Stephen Franson, you mentioned, Noel Lloyd. We've had Tim Young. Many of these chiropractors not asking for a dime and came in on a Wednesday night, flew in to speak to our group, and flew back out the next day. Literally just because they wanted to speak to the group and speak chiropractic. I remember Noel Lloyd, he's like, last time he spoke, he was in town in Chicago for a seminar, flew back to Seattle on the Sunday night, came back to Chicago again on a Wednesday just for cops, and flew back the next morning to Seattle in a 4-hour flight. Something, we've had, I can name, I don't know how many chiropractors that we've had speak like that. That have been, I just can't. I feel it's just been, they've been so gracious with presenting to us. And now you've got some cred going, right? Like it's been really cool, to connect people in a way. And I say this all the time whenever we do meetings, and I say, one of the things I feel it's a little bit selfish to me now too, that I'm doing this group every 2 months because it's my one chance to see a lot of these people. we always like talk, oh, we should get together. We should go golfing. We'll go to lunch and go. Never happens. But I'll see them every other month at Cops. And that's cool. We can shake hands, give a big hug, talk, laugh. And now it's kind of the point that with some sponsorships, I've always wanted to create this. How do we create a meeting? We can gather chiropractors together. We can have a speaker. We can get CE credits, and we can get sponsors, so it's free for the doctors to attend. And we really built that. We had I spoke in January. We had 72 chiropractors in the room. In January, it was awesome. Just the energy. It was one big chiropractic party. We had Tony Ebo, who's a local chiropractor here, speak last month, and we had 50 chiropractors come to that meeting. Same thing. Dan Bai, a local chiropractor from here, from Chicago, he's speaking. And then it's been like so great. They're great, to come and to bring people to it. Even though I'm going back and forth from Tennessee to Illinois, I'm not going to stop the Cops thing. It's just a lot of fun.
It's been 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Circle of personal success. So if a doc is listening and or watching this, how would they get involved, or can they get involved? What does that look like?
I mean, the simplest thing is a website, copschiropractors.com, COPS chiropractors.com. There's a Facebook page too. Again, we have a meeting at the same restaurant here in Lombard every other month. It's always in the odd months of the year. But those websites, I'm always putting it up there. That's the best way to find it. Also the other thing too is it's been a great referral network, because my best referral network is other chiropractors. Above any other professionals, it's other chiropractors sending me patients because, I need a chiropractor in Lombard. I need a chiropractor in Rosemont. I need a chiropractor in Chicago. I need a chiropractor in and then whatever it may be. Guess where I'm sending them is my friend from Cops who practices in that town. So that's been like, and they get referrals, multiples every month from people just in that group. So,
yeah. So on that topic, it's a good segue for me to talk a little bit about the marketing side of things. So I know you've brought probably like an incredible internal marketing machine. Obviously, it sounds like you have some external referral type situation as well. But tell me more about like, what is the overall picture of the digital marketing, or I guess I should say just general marketing, look like for you guys? What's working? What's not working? What do you suggest to other owners? What's your thoughts there?
So in the practice, you mean like the attraction piece?
Yeah.
So, God, it's so funny because, back when I started in practice with Noel Lloyd, and he was coaching us, it was me out pounding the pavements,
He's still teaching that, just for the record. But
yeah, I know he is. I know. And it still works at times. It still works. It was like the on the ground gorilla, like bringing the sand machine out, this big clunky metal thing that was way bigger than it used to be 20 years ago than it is now, out to gyms and other health clubs and street festivals and 5K races and triathlons and corporate and then doing lunch talks, things like that. And I think of when I started here, right out of the gate, I was doing those before it even open. So I had people already on my book before I walked in. But then we got into more things. I started speaking to local groups, lunch and learns, talks, dinner talks. We'd be doing these dinner talks. We'd invite patients to bring guests every couple months, and that was all we did. Like I did like nothing online. I did dabble in some Facebook marketing. I don't know if I had the right person. We went through 3 different people on that market. I just never got the quality that I was looking for because we had to do the offer so cheap. It was never something that I was really a fan of all the leads we had to chase. And then the person coming in was not a very qualified patient. It didn't really have a problem even, it seems like. So that was pretty much our marketing machine until COVID hit. It was all about dinner talks, lunch talks, spinal screenings. And that's what we did. Then you got COVID, right? Which changed a lot of different businesses. But I know the things we weren't able to do, like I couldn't fill a restaurant with 40 people because they can't sit next to each other. They aren't going to share a food with strangers, right? During all that time. Any spinal screening was out. The lunch and learn talks were out. I was working from home. No one was going to work. We turned to, online, Google, I thought was better because I just like the patients better because they actually usually have a problem they want with. So, I mean, currently that's our main is online format that we're putting our kind of our eggs in that basket. We're always trying to get more Google reviews, so we look like we obviously want to be build a credibility online with that, with really great reviews that our patients leave us, and then just the Google space, SEO things, Google ad things that will tie with that. I just like that patient who's going to be like, hey, I have a problem. I found your office. I see your credibility based on all the reviews. I want help. Fix me, right? Like that's the patient I want online. Internally, we are still doing events. We did a talk. We have some patients of ours that they own a gym. We did a talk there. We booked 8 new patients 2 days ago. We did a talk on pediatrics that 2 of my associates did. They booked 14 new patients with that event. We're always doing some events like that. But internally has been I mean, at this point now in my career and, in 21 years of practice has been there's mostly referrals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do a really good job of talking about the importance of not only getting the word out, but like chiropractic is for families, right? I adjust my family. I've had, I adjust my 3 kids since the day they were born, the day they were born was their first adjustment that day. Like since I believe that and we believe that, it just comes through to the patients that we take care of families. So the internal referral thing is really great. I got another little nugget for you here on that. If you want to steal this one too, you can.
Bring it.
So we build into our system that, once the patient's in, I don't want to browbeat people from the beginning about setting referrals in when they're still not even in themselves yet. So how about then make sure their day 1 is in, their day 2 is in, and day 3, that they're in the process. But on the 4th visit, we built into our system that we're going to show the patient home exercises because they always ask about it anyways. So I want to beat them into the punch. Or if they ask me that early on day 1 and day 2, I just defer it. And I say, during the first week of your care, we're going to do a sit down with you and talk about home exercises and habits you'll probably want to change to have the best success with this chiropractic program. So we already know we're going to be doing that in their 4th visit. But I also want to make sure so I always ask these 3 questions at the end it's about a 3-minute routine that I'm showing them. I end with these 3 questions. I say, hey, do you have any questions at all regarding the home exercises we just showed you? Next question. Do you have any questions at all regarding your chiropractic care so far? And the third question I always ask is this. Is there anyone else in your family that we can help with our health?
I love that.
I didn't say, is there anyone else in their family who needs chiropractic? I said, anyone else in your family that could use help with their health? Almost every time we just start a dialogue then. And I just want to know, like their kid has allergies. Their kid has constipation. Their husband has awful sciatica. I didn't want to start a conversation on that. What are they doing about it? How long they had the problem for? What was the last x-ray taken of their spine? And then that will usually that conversation will lead to a referral. But then the next thing we do with those internal leads is we track it on a spreadsheet, a Google sheet that the whole team sees. So then we can do follow-ups later. And you say, hey, Corey, you're like, oh yeah, my sister, has bad migraines. We had to kind of talk about it. But then I wait a week or so and nothing happened. I can follow up. And I remember as I saw the sheet, you said your sister, I know her name, and she has migraine headaches. I'm going to come back, loop back to that maybe a week or 2 weeks later just to follow up. So I'm in a zone because there's always going to be warm leads names that are popping up. So I learned doing this too long as I have that, like, you generate this name and an issue and you can help them and you want to help them. Their patient wants to help their friend but then we forget about it. We totally drop the ball. But if you track it and we actually track it and when we mark the date we talked to them, the dates we did follow-ups, but I'm going to follow up with that just like you'd follow up with a lead that came through online. Why not follow up with a lead that you generate internally?
Yeah.
So we do that regularly too. And it's been a fun game because everyone in the team has access to that sheet. They're always inputting even names for us. I was talking to Jan about her sister at the front desk on the way out today. It pops in the spreadsheet. So then my CA has just generated a lead for me.
Repeat that third question for me one more time.
Is there anyone else in your family that we can help with their health?
Yeah, I love how you position it around health because I don't think there's probably a person on the planet that doesn't have somebody in their life that has some health challenge that they would love to tell you and complain about. I got one. I'll pitch you back one that we recently discovered as well at the conference this last weekend. Michaela, my fiance, actually started using it, and so when somebody calls, one of the questions at their front desk, I might butcher it, but it's something that they ask the person is they say, "Is this appointment for you or your whole family?"
Yes.
As another fun one
Yep.
that is great.
This
But
you're planting a seed.
right,
That person knows that you're a family practice. Yep.
100%. And then also they're thinking is like, "Oh, wait, does other people in my family also need chiropractic care?"
That's true. They probably do.
I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Shoot.
So it's whatever the first thing that comes to mind. You ready?
Let's do it.
What's the best book for a chiro CEO or a chiropractic business owner?
I don't know. Gosh, there's some really good ones though. Like Noel Lloyd put out a book, like the 56 things that chiropractors should know, a lot of CEO stuff. I love Stephen Franson and Pete Caniello's stuff, the entrepreneur chiropractor CEO stuff. That's why there's a podcast that they do. There is the E-Myth chiropractor. I'm going to go up here because you're telling about this. I can grab my books and show you all the stuff. There's an E-Myth chiropractor. I did the Audible version, so I didn't buy the book. But there was
Same
I think it's
author?
Michael Gerber, right? Wrote the book, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
Is the
is.
same author?
Yeah, and he interviewed a chiropractor for the book. So it's
What?
him and the chiropractor going back and forth. So it's the E-Myth, but it's chiropractic.
That's
It
awesome.
was really good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the book is predominantly written by, or the original book, E-Myth Revisited, is about like a bakery, or excuse me, like a pie.
This one, the E-Myth Physician,
Ha!
this one came out, and it's probably like 20 years old now. But then another version that came out was the E-Myth Chiropractor. I
That's
read
a
all three, and it's kind of cool because E-Myth Chiropractor then really, because a chiropractor who passed away but was very successful was chiming in with Gerber, and it was really good. So, and that was all on the CEO end, right? Because that's the concept of the book,
right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I like that. That's a good nugget. What's one piece of tech you can't live without?
If I'm talking about my life, it's my Google Calendar. I always tell my team and my wife and my family, you can take it all away, but keep my Google Calendar. That's my life. On a chiropractic end, I really like this. I like outside of the table, like on a practice end. I was outside of X-ray, which was huge. Is the posture analysis app.
Posture analysis app. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it takes only a couple seconds to take 2 pictures, but it's an epidemic. People have poor posture, especially from the side, like the side posture. I mean, it is an epidemic with people and all their gadgets and devices and kids with their Chromebooks at school and the cell phone use and all that stuff. I mean, to see the visual of yourself from the side, since you can't see yourself from the side, is huge.
Yeah, I started noticing it a lot more after dating a chiropractor, and I see it everywhere now, and now I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
What's the number one metric most chiros ignore but shouldn't?
I guess I call it dollar visit average, call it what you want, but you take your take your collections divided by, which way does it go? So it's your money you make divided by your patient visits. So you know how much you're making per visit.
Got it. Okay.
Simple math, but super important because you may have a practice seeing 1,000 patients a week, but if you're collecting $10 a visit,
Yeah,
then
it's bad business.
exactly,
Yeah. Nashville hot chicken or Chicago deep dish?
It's hard to say. The only issue is that we've gone gluten free as a family, so it
Mm.
kind of gets rid of both.
Yeah.
Really, because I was like a Geno Z's guy in Chicago, like that was my thing. I loved that for years. Then we went gluten free, and some places will carry that, but I'll tell you what, it's a one thing. Like in Nashville, I wish we had a Chicago pizza. There is one place called 312. I'm promoting them here on this podcast. That was Chicago people. That's 312 is the area code in Chicago. They opened in Nashville, and it's all Chicago people who opened it. And the whole pizza restaurant has Chicago sports stuff everywhere: Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, everywhere. And they have legit Chicago pizza there. Oh, and we'll drive 25 minutes all the way to downtown Nashville often to get that.
Don't hate me, but we I think we went to Giordano's,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
I'm sure that's probably one of those like, oh, it's the chain in Chicago, but I mean it's good.
It is good though. It is good.
Yeah, can't hate it. Before we kind of land this plane, is there any other topics we didn't hit on or questions I should have asked you that I didn't that you wanted to make sure to make note of?
As chiropractors in practice week after week, it can be, I don't want to say boring, but it becomes mundane sometimes. You're adjusting over and over and over again. And it takes a lot of physical energy. And it takes a lot of like discipline and willpower to be on your game every day with every patient. So what I found that just like going to church on Sunday and you get yourself refilled, I think it's vitally important that chiropractors can putting their head in good chiropractic stuff and books. Like I was going to show all these books here. Like here's Tim Young's new book I used on your podcast recently. I have all these old school books that I read of chiropractors that have been back in the day. And I love this stuff. The old school chiropractic stuff, BJ Palmer stuff, like just to like Fred Barge's stuff, Tom Morgan stuff. I'm only like just during the week, like on the weekend I'm with the kids and the family, we're doing it. But like during the week, even if there's a couple pages at night before I go to bed, I'm reading that. And I get more excited about being a chiropractor. And the next morning when I'm getting ready for the day and I'm making my morning smoothie and everything else, I'm always listening to some kind of chiropractic audio because then like I created this like top 10 of morning affirmations. And one of the couple things that I have on there is like, I just want to be excited about chiropractic. I want to be excited to deliver the adjustments. I want to be excited to tell the patients what I'm doing and why and how it affects their health. But if I don't get there, like if I don't get my brain in that place, then it becomes really hard to work day to day. But if I'm excited about it and I want to deliver the adjustments and I'm excited about what I'm doing and how I'm helping the patient, it makes it fun. And you get better patient results, you get more referrals, your energy is where it has to be. But it does take some discipline to like put your head in this stuff like all the time. And, just like you went to the seminar, right? A couple seminars here. And you walk away from the seminar and it's like you're always jazzed up every time. Like, man, I'm ready to take the world on. But you can't go to a seminar every weekend. So what do you do? The weekends you don't go to a seminar, or even bigger than that. What do you do during the week? If you can go to a seminar and then 48 hours later, all that fizz is gone. Like, what do you do I think it's important to keep your head in that chiropractic game as much as you can.
Sounds like a good plug for cops, my friend.
It is.
We'll make sure to put that in the show notes. But Tim, this has been great, man. What's your plug? Where can people find you? What do you want people to check out?
The best place is probably the cops, chiropractors.com. On that tab too, there's a services page. I am doing private coaching and all my free time of traveling back and forth and everything else and I'm doing. I do have a real heart for building a practice with associate chiropractors, with a great team, with great systems that really gels with good energy. I am bringing on clients that I'm teaching that model. And it's been really cool because of the 10 chiropractic coaches that I've had, I have taken from all of them. I guess the biggest thing I think that was been my superpower in the last 26 years, I've been a good student. And I have like really good notes from all of these 10 coaches. And I've kind of meshed it into the Tim Weselak version of what I think a good practice is. And that's what I've been coaching my clients I have now on that. So if anyone wants help or wants to jump on a call and talk about, how to build this, a practice like this that could run on its own, I'd be happy to chat.
What's the 30-second elevator pitch of an ideal person to be coached by you?
Someone who's probably, either a sole practitioner whose practice is kind of moving up the ladder, seeing 150 to 200 patients a week, who wants to bring on an associate and know how to do it right. Or it's the doctor who has associates or has had associates and it didn't go well and it wants help on onboarding and making that relationship work as a win-win going forward. Those are the ideals for me.
Perfect. Awesome. Yep. Tim, thanks for doing this, man.
Awesome. Love it.